Who's actually going to get the most out of a high-speed air-feed folder like the FORMAX Atlas AS, and who would be better off putting their money toward a cheaper tabletop model? If you're wondering whether the price tag makes sense for an everyday office that only folds a few hundred sheets a day, or if you're a small batch printer looking to push 20,000 plus sheets an hour, those are the questions we need to answer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks looking at the kind of paperwork that shows up in real print shop shipping invoices for bulk orders, promotional flyers that need a clean fold, and even custom labels that run through the same equipment. The Atlas AS sits in the middle of that workflow. It's a big, industrial-looking box with a 7-inch color touchscreen that promises 6 standard folds, a 500-sheet hopper and up to 27,500 sheets per hour. The promise is impressive, but the real question is whether the machine lives up to that promise in the everyday environment most buyers will actually find themselves in. First off, let's talk about the air feed system. The Atlas uses a powerful suction table to pull sheets into the feed rollers. In theory, that means you can feed a mix of weights without having to manually align each stack. In practice, the suction works fine when you're feeding clean, uniformly sized paper. As soon as you introduce a couple of slightly warped sheets or a few extra heavy cardstock pieces, the feed can start to jam. The machine does have a sensor that backs out a sheet if it detects a jam, but recovery can take a few seconds, and the whole line slows down. For a print shop that needs a non-stop flow, that could be a hidden cost. You either have to tighten up your input quality or accept occasional downtime. The 6 standard folds are a solid selling point for anyone who needs consistent, repeatable folds. The Atlas handles letter, legal, A4 and a few other common sizes without any extra setup. I tested a batch of 10-page invoices, and the folding was spot on every time. No crooked creases, no misaligned edges. That reliability matters when you're outputting thousands of documents. A single misfold can mean a whole batch has to be rerun, eating both time and paper. On the flip side, the machine doesn't offer custom folds beyond those 6 presets. If you need a unique brochure fold or a custom tuck, you'll either need a different machine or some manual intervention, which defeats the purpose of automation. Durability is another factor that often gets glossed over in spec sheets. The Atlas AS uses stainless steel rollers that can handle the wear of continuous operation. In the few days I ran it, the rollers stayed cool and showed no signs of streaking. That's a good sign for shops that run the equipment for 8-hour shifts. However, the belt-driven Outfeed stacker, which moves the finished stacks onto the collection tray, can be a little noisy. If your workspace is small or you're close to a reception area, you'll hear the motor humming every few seconds as it adjusts the stack height. It's not a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind if quiet operation is a priority. Now, let's talk about value for money. The headline speed of 27,500 sheets per hour sounds like a massive productivity boost, but that number is only reachable under perfect conditions: uniform paper, no jams, and a steady supply of correctly sized sheets. In a typical office that prints a few thousand pages a day, you'll never see that top speed. The real metric you should be looking at is the cost per folded sheet. If you're already paying for a high-volume printer, adding the Atlas brings the folding step in-house and can shave off the expense of outsourcing. For a print shop that currently outsources 20,000 sheets a month, doing the folding internally could save a few $100s a month, enough to justify the purchase after a year or so. Who should buy it? Small to mid-size print shops that already have a high-volume printer and need to automate the folding process will find the Atlas AS a natural extension. It's especially useful for businesses that ship a lot of paperwork. Think e-commerce fulfillment centers, logistics firms, or any operation that prints and mails invoices in bulk. The machine also works well for offices that regularly produce multi-page handouts for events, where consistency matters. Who should skip it? If you're a solo entrepreneur, a home office, or a small team that prints under 2,000 sheets a month, you'll likely never tap into the speed this machine offers. The upfront cost, the space it occupies, roughly the size of a small desk, and the need for relatively clean paper feed make it overkill for low-volume users. In those cases, a tabletop electric folder that handles up to 500 sheets an hour will be more than enough and won't require the same level of maintenance or paper quality control. Practical strengths: consistent 6-fold capability, sturdy rollers that can handle heavy